Good morning. I drove up to the cabin last night with my son. We're going to his house because he had a pipe break and it flooded his kitchen and his dining room and his living room. It was supposed to sprinkle today. Well, here we go. It's going to be fun cleanup. 6 a.m. mountain living. You never know what's going to happen. Well, we're at my son's house. I just got here. This had about 2 inches of water on it. This house was built in the 30s. He's up on a mountain overlooking Mount Shasta, and one of the pipes for his sink broke. He just started remodeling it. That where you can see where he took the walls out and stuff like that. And he got a bunch of sheetrock from his work. And of course, it got wet and has mold on it. So we're hoping we can save half of it. But it flooded the kitchen area. He's already demoed this room, put new wiring in it. We're getting ready to insulate and drywall. But all this floor is peeled up. And this is marmoleum. It's real thick. So we're going to have to probably pull most of this up. You can see the bubbles on the ground where his feet are, and the carpet is just saturated. This is my youngest son's home, and my middle son came up here to get his motorcycle from my youngest son's shed and found the place on, I think it was Wednesday? No, it was last Friday. So we are going to have to pull everything out of here, get this carpet out of here, and contemplate on whether we're going to pull this marmoleum up. I mean, this house is a neat little farmhouse with a killer view and just BLM land on all 3 sides. So here we go. Well, you wanted new carpet and linoleum anyways. Mother Nature forced you.
Yep.
Okay. This is out my son's back porch door. It's still snowing, but this is really a beautiful place. And right straight ahead there is Mount Shasta. Really, I promise. The carpet was wet, but the padding was saturated. I had to take it out in small chunks because it was just like a giant sponge. The carpet is holding a ton of moisture. And just so you guys know, the reason why I'm doing all the stuff on the ground is my son has a slipped disc in his back from a car accident. And he's just getting better, so he could go back to work, so we don't want to mess that up. And it's good for the old fat guy. We got the tack strip all up, and we had to get the baseboard up, so they probably had the baseboard up here and then overlaid it with 1/2 inch or 3/8 plywood and then put this flooring on it because it was buried down in there. But I don't know if you can see this. It's moisture, it's water. So we're going to cut either 18 inches up to 2 feet up and get this all out. And then he's fortunate enough to live, he's like 5 miles from town, and they have a Harbor Freight there. So we're gonna see if we can find a floor scraper and pop all these tiles up, and possibly, we'll see if we can, get this marmoleum up and then dry the floors out the best we can. It might be taking out all the plywood and starting over. Oh boy, fun. The drywall is so moist, and I was using a shovel to pop the baseboard off. It's just pushed into the wall so easy. Luckily, Harbor Freight did have a floor scraper, and it worked pretty well. Only problem with that is the bolts that hold the blade on were on the top of the scraper, so it caught on every tile. The worst part was wearing the dust mask. It was suffocating, but I didn't want to breathe any mold spores just in case. And then another pain was having to move the furniture here and there because we couldn't put it outside because it was snowing. I'm pretty sure those tiles were the old asbestos tiles, but luckily everything was wet, so there was no dust, and we did wear masks. Another section done. So we scraped up all the tiles, and you can see the bubbles in the floor. So this is all probably 3/8 particle board. But we got all the tiles out, and it was soaking wet. When you step on this floor, it sloshes out the sides. But I'm thinking we're gonna try and tackle that marmoleum, which is gonna be even more fun. Here we go. I definitely liked the marmoleum when it came up in big strips. It was a lot easier, but all the little stuff, what a pain. Okay, we got the next section out of marmoleum, and under the marmoleum was a bunch of those tiles. So that was a pain, but I got it. And then now going into the kitchen area, it's got that marmoleum laminate over some other thicker marmoleum or linoleum. So this is a real pain. Let the fun continue. All right, day number 2. We just snapped a line here, 16 inches. I'm going to cut that out and see what happens, see what's in there. But we're gonna try and get this extra layer of flooring off possibly today, and the drywall all the way around here. This whole wall, he's going to replace all the windows. So we're gonna take all the drywall off anyways. All this stuff that we're doing, we were planning on doing anyways. Mother Nature just said, okay, let's get her done. So let's get this thing started. We got this area all taken out, and there was just a tiny bit of moisture, maybe 3/4 of an inch to an inch on the drywall. And this is an interior wall. And then right here starts an exterior wall, but it's still not bad. This is the side that receives the least amount of rain. Now over here, this is where it was added on, I don't know how many years ago, but this receives the southwest weather coming off the mountain, and it gets a lot of rain. And this has moisture going all the way up the 2x4s. And the siding on the house is really old. Look at that, that's mold. So I'm thinking the siding was compromised, leaking. We still have to get behind his monitor heater there, but cleaned it all out. Some really old-fashioned insulation with wires holding it on. I mean, they did a good job back in 1938, but the thing's almost 90 years old. That bottom plate is rotted out almost across the whole thing. They even laid wire down there next to the bottom and put drywall on top of it, so things have changed. in the 80 years or so. So I'm thinking after this, we might start trying to tear up this flooring here, the wood, and get rid of that particle board. Well, we got the first 2 rows of the particle board, and what it was called is masonite underlayment. I mean, it's only 1/4 inch thick, and they used ring shank nails, and it is fighting me. But then this is 1/8 inch thick membrane. So that's coming out next. I took the 1/8 inch membrane off. It's really thick. Well, I mean, it's thicker than normal. It's about an 1/8 inch, and it was in full sheets. It's almost like roofing, but this was what was under the addition area. That's not bad at all. I'm real curious on the next setup. Now I gotta move all the furniture and get that over here and start tearing out, because this right here is the existing, the original 1938. Okay, I've gotten 6 pieces of the 4x4 squares of masonite out of here. And this is the original flooring that was in, I guess this was the living room. But this is some old looking stuff, I tell you, it's pretty cool. So they must have added on, when they added on, they put the rubber membrane underneath it, and then the masonite over this whole area, all the way up to the wood burning stove and that wall that he's already demoed. So I've got maybe 8 more pieces, 7 more pieces to take out, and that'll be a good wrap to getting this house, all the water damage out for what we can for this 2 days. Then we'll come back and do the dining room and the kitchen. But not too bad. It's a pain in the butt. They did not skimp on the nails in the masonite. Every 6 inches. Wowzer. Well, here we go. We got 3 more pieces of masonite out. I'm not going to take this out this trip. We're cleaning it up, getting ready to go make another dump run. So we had 2 dump runs. They're about just level with the bed of the pickup. But this concrete little hearth here was poured on top of the linoleum and on top of the masonite. So the next time we come, I'm gonna get my multi-tool out and cut all the way around to get this out. I'll need to take the baseboard out, and we'll see if it needs any drywall taken off. But still, 2 level pickup loads of debris, and this place is a lot cleaner and a lot drier. So stay tuned for the next time up at my son Trevor's house. Well, I made it up to the cabin after working at my son's place, and my wife's daffodils she planted are starting to bloom. It was just covered with snow about 2 days ago. Kind of hard to see them down there, but we have a ton. So we have a ball field in the community that I live in, and they need an outfield fence line. So they needed T-posts, so I'm donating 55 6-foot T-posts. And then I've got a bunch of these stakes for forming up concrete for another buddy, Paul, who's making some kind of apparatus that we throw in the lake to pull out all the dead tules. He had one and it was made out of rebar, but the rebar was bending, so we're thinking we can cut them out of this stuff and be a lot stronger. So there you go. Multi-uses up here at the cabin. So this is the back of the cabin. There you go. Here's some more daffodils. That's our woodshed. That's got the bigger stuff in it, and that one's got the kindling and small stuff. But my wife planted a ton of these things, and they're popping up all over the place. Some right here, there's some down the road. There's some way over there by the trough. I thought there was some by the greenhouse, but maybe not. Sure is beautiful up here when it's green. All right, we're heading home from a fun-filled weekend of cleaning up water damage. Here's a little picture of Mount Shasta. One of the reasons why we both have places up here is really beautiful. Lots of lakes, rivers. It's God's country. Anyways, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.